Are we ready? Are we prepared? Great, thank you. All right, it is unfortunately 7:05 already tonight, so we will start our Town of Frederick Board of Trustees meeting on the 11th of March, 2025. Would someone take the roll for us today, please?
Mayor Kreitz.
Present.
Trustee Mayhem. Trustee Taveldi.
I am here.
Trustee March.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown. Trustee Lamont.
Here.
Trustee Padilla.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, let's stand once again and join each other in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, do we have any changes to our agenda tonight?
No changes, Mayor.
Changes, thank you. We do have one special presentation tonight. Miss Monica Vickers, special presentation. Would you mind joining us at the podium? We're ready to hear your presentation. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
How are ya?
Good. How are you guys tonight?
Great.
Hi, I'm Mike Sindelar. I'm co-founder of the Carbon Valley Half Marathon. Nice to see you guys again.
And I am Monica Vickers. I am the director of the Carbon Valley Half Marathon and 5K for Autism. And we are here tonight to ask for grant money that you guys have given us so graciously every year that we've been doing this. This is our 13th year. Super exciting to say that it's been part of our town for that long. Tonight I really want to talk about the impact. I have some great knowledge here that the Children's Hospital put together for us, and it actually will.
Is it okay if I pass a couple?
Of course, yeah.
It breaks out like what the
Thank you.
funds that we've raised and donated to autism research, what actually it's been doing in the past 13 years. Some really key points are they've used a lot of it for a lot of sleep issues, but mainly for GI issues is where it starts with a lot of autistic people in general, not just children. And so they started off with the GI testing, and then they took that and noticed that a lot of them that had the issues also were struggling with vitamin D and having sleep problems. So it's nice to know that our money is going to help the families that have these challenges, because they're finding ways to improve. And just like finding out that vitamin D is a source that could help the kiddos that are struggling and adults to be able to sleep better. So they've recently started a focus group on the transition years from children to adults, which for me, my son is 18 years old, so we've been part of this community for 20 years, and he's 18, lived his whole life with autism, and they have a focus group now that will help transition to adulthood. So I'm super excited to see what the impact of our dollars have done, and that's thanks to the town for supporting us year after year also.
Remind me the date. Did I miss
The
that?
date is May 10th, always over Mother's Day weekend.
Okay.
And that and last year we raised actually $20,000 that we donated to Children's Hospital. The year before was only $12,500.
Wow.
It really improved. Our numbers were up almost a full 100 that we brought into the community for the town. People come from all over the states. It's really great. We've even had people come from different countries to our event to support the cause and bring awareness to autism.
It's great. Did you have good weather last year? Yes?
No,
Sometimes
last year
it's
was
rainy.
actually nice, but we've had some. Yeah, we've had hail. We've had snow once. We've had it all.
We have, and the only thing that I would add to Monica's comments is that our cumulative dollar amount that we've given to the Children's Hospital is $200,000, and every dime that we raise after we cover our expenses goes directly to them. So we don't make a dime on this event. We just cover our expenses, and everything else goes to the Children's Hospital. So
Love that.
It's a sponsor a runner too kind of thing, where you can like sponsor somebody running.
Yeah, so there's the option to do a
I think my daughter's
fundraising
done it.
page through the Children's Colorado Foundation, the Children's Hospital Foundation, and I did actually bring a few like brochures, like little flyers, if you'd
Great.
like those as
Thank you.
well.
Great.
And that will kind of tell you a little bit more.
Thank you.
But yeah, if people can go on and do a fundraising team and raise money. A lot of times people may not want to necessarily run, or they don't think they're a runner, or they want to help in other ways. And there's so many other ways. There's volunteering, which is really huge. It takes over 100 people to put our event on. Making sure that everybody is safe during it. It takes a lot. There's the fundraising feature, and then of course there's the registration for the race.
Great ways.
And I
Thank
will
you.
say I ran last year, and I'm proud to say I placed last in my age group. And so that was special, really,
Well,
to see
then
that
I hope
result.
you have a goal to beat that this year.
Yeah.
Or are you in a different age group?
About my age. Thank you for giving me that idea.
That's an idea, right? With the grant money, it does give 2 registrations, so I would hope that that would be utilized. We also have a wonderful vendor expo that goes on during the event. I would love to see Frederick there with a tent. That so far hasn't happened, and I would love it just to have your guys' support there as well. You
Okay.
guys support us financially, but it would be great to have something fun there for you guys.
Great idea. Thank you.
And I like the facelift in here. It looks very bright. This is all new, right? It looks like colors are different.
Last couple years, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I must not have noticed it last year.
Yeah.
I noticed it.
I think we
These
added the
tables, I don't
pictures
remember these
maybe.
tables being here.
Oh, yes. We're trying to make it more hospitable in here.
It's very homey.
Okay, good. We like it when people come to our board meetings, so thank you for saying that. That's nice. Okay, well, I do believe you all have information relative to the event and the request in your packet. So if you have any other questions, now is a good time for that. If not, some direction on this grant funding request would be appreciated. Remind me the dollar amount, anyone?
2,500.
2,500.
Mayor Kreitz, I moved to grant the request for 2,500.
Second.
Motion in a second.
Trustee Taveldi,
Yes.
Trustee March,
Yes.
Trustee Lamach,
Yes.
Trustee Padilla.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
Thank
Great.
you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Good luck on your
Thank
event.
you very much.
Hope to
Yes.
see you all there, some way or another.
I'll be cheering Wendy on.
I'll be in the age 60 and older age.
Then you're going to pick up for my mother-in-law.
Thank you. Thank you for your advocacy. We appreciate it. Okay, that is the only special presentation I have tonight. That's correct. All right, we'll move into our public comment. This portion of our agenda is provided to allow members of our audience to provide comments to the Board of Trustees. Please sign in and you will be called. If your comments or concerns require an action on that item or items will need to be placed on a later agenda. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Woog, would you join us at the podium, please? Representative Woog.
Thank you. Dan Woog, 640 Main Street, Frederick. And it's good to see you, Honorary Mayor and Board. I don't have a lot. Just want to remind you I'm here, and you can reach out to me. I've been emailing the board. There's been a lot of bills, unfortunately, that have kind of been state control over local control. We've seen a lot of them. I think at least a dozen, and probably most have passed, unfortunately. But I'll keep sending those. Please let me know if you have thoughts on them. And then, of course, testimony is always good. I know how busy everyone is, but if you or someone else can testify, and I know we've had, Ryan's been down there, so he did a fantastic job, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. I want you to know that. So just want to let you know that. I'm happy to take emails and anytime you want to ask questions for me to ask or want to be there or have constituents that can be there, that's fantastic. we have what we call the long bill coming up, and we like to ask for financial needs. Now, we are in a budget deficit in the state, but it's good to put that on the record. Like, hey, Frederick really needs this. So if you guys have anything, a list truly, please send it. I always think about Highway 52 in my head, but
I was going to say it's 19 miles long, so it's 19 items.
there we go.
It's just one big.
If you have a list, I will ask for those. I mean, again, squeaky wheel, and it's probably not happening this time, but I think it's good to get that
Yeah.
on the record. So,
Okay.
I think that's mainly it. I just want to say hi, and I appreciate what you guys are doing, and yeah, I that's just want to say hi, and I'm here, and I may not make it in again. It's just going to get longer and longer down there. Last week, I think we had 3 or 4 days that were 12-hour days. It's probably going to increase. So
Right.
if I can make it back, I will. But just know I'm here, and you guys can certainly reach out anytime. Okay.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks for fighting the good fight on the state and local. I do have some comments that I was going to email over to you. Would that count as testimony from my perspective, or do you need me to be present to share those thoughts?
I'm happy to share anything. And if you want me to say who it was from, I'm happy to do that. If it's just a constituent, I'm happy to just say that. But yeah, I absolutely will ask questions or share things if you want to
Okay.
give me that information.
Yeah, thank you. Well, particularly on the state versus local item or items, we've had laborious conversations as a board about that. So I feel like I've got a pretty good consensus on the board thought. We're very thorough in our comprehensive plan and our land use code. So all the things that the state doesn't think that we're capable of, we're doing a really great job of in Frederick. So I would love for you to share that and celebrate that at the state.
Yep, I will absolutely do that. Be happy to do that.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
For what you do.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Dan.
Any other public comment? The public, you all are our team members. It's nice when there's not someone mad at you from the community that joins you and you didn't know was attending. Nice. Okay, staff reports.
Yes, Mayor, members of the board, just a couple of items. I had mentioned we were looking to move the windshield tour to May, which will be great because we'll obviously have an additional hour of time. So I haven't heard from everybody yet, but I've got some consensus on May 6th. So if you can just let me know by the end of the week, I'm going to go ahead and put a hold on the calendar for that potentially, and then we'll use the following Tuesday as a follow-up to that, if that works. But let me know by the end of the week.
It works
And I
for
can-
me. Yeah.
The other item, just real quick, appreciate some of the information that's been provided. A new addition to the admin report, and thanks to Trish and Emily in the town clerk's office on Cora requests. It's just helpful, I think, for you all to see that, and I appreciate that. I know that's something that the board has been asking for I think actually years, so we really appreciate that addition to it. And then lastly, and there'll be more information that we'll provide at the next board meeting, but just real quick update on the zip code issue, and we'll have some information with NLC that we can provide at the next meeting. But we do have some initial commitment from Representative Bobart's office that they will amend the bill that would have to be reran at the House of Representatives of the United States House and include Frederick on that. And then it will probably face an uphill battle as it goes through the Senate. And so we'll be working with our 2 state senators to further help that push forward. So our hope is that in the next week or 2, we should have confirmation and a draft of that bill, and we'll be able to share it with the board. So we're pushing hard on that front.
They give you an indication on why it's an uphill battle? I mean, is it like the fact that you have stakeholders that share that zip code with us and don't want to be a part of sharing the funds from that zip code with the rightful municipality?
I've talked to both of the adjoining municipalities, and as long as we're staying within our boundaries, they don't have any issue with it. I think it's going to be more of a political battle because there's going to be people in the Senate that are going to feel like we're bypassing the United States Postal Service,
Okay.
which to some extent we are. We are still going to go through the process of an appeal. We have had a meeting with the regional director. They say they have an appeal process, but they referenced a document in 1978 and 1999 on the on our website, or on their website is the only thing that says that there's an appeal. which really is you just write a letter. Well, what does that letter include?
Mm-hmm.
It's up to us. Well, what decision do you make regarding that letter? Well, we'll determine whether or not we feel like we want to approve it or not. So basically, 90% of the appeals that have been submitted have been denied. And so there is a concern politically that this bill is undermining the United States Postal Office. And so just because of that, there might be some healthy no's in the United States Senate. And so one way to approach that and working with a lobbyist out there is to work with additional senators from other states. The more municipalities we can add to the bill from other states, we'll get more yeses. So that's probably going to be the approach. The hope is that it's done sometime before the end of this year.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you for your work on that. Appreciate it. Any questions for Brian? No?
Nope.
Well, thank you. That's helpful. Okay, we have our consent agenda. Our consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and vote. There will be no separate discussion of consent agenda item unless a board member so requests, in which case that item would be removed from the consent agenda and considered at the end of the consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove the item for discussion or carry a resolution to move forward?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda as is.
Second.
Thank you, both of you.
Trustee Padilla?
Yes.
Trustee Lamag?
Yes.
Trustee March?
Yes.
Trustee Tabeldi?
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
Thank you. All right, our first action agenda item, item F, Resolution 25R23, approving CMGC contract with FCI Constructors.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Trustees. Tonight we have for you Bid Pack 2, which is the second piece of the construction of the new Public Works facility. We'll walk through another project update, so kind of where we're in progress from the last time we've had discussion about this project, kind of the schedule, where we are with design, overall, the project overall kind of GMP, so guaranteed maximum price, a review of Bid Pack 1, which was presented to the board last month. This on-site GMP, which is Bid Pack 2, which is the remaining items for the site, and then we will be coming back to the board in April for the final Bid Pack 3, which is the off-site public improvements for the total project. So we're kind of in, again, Q2 of 2025. Full project will end in Q4 2027. So we're currently in project application and procurement and final owner's review of the site. During this design process, there's been a lot of input from the team, from Public Works Facilities, Fleet, Streets and Stormwater, Parks and Open Space, Engineering, Planning, Technology, Police, Fire, Sanitation, and Communications. It's been a group effort along the way in various pieces of getting the project to this point. Some milestones of to mention is May of 2024 with program verification. So that was with meeting with departments on what that 40, 50 year program need is. Who has schematic design completed in July of 2024. November 2024, we had design development phase was completed. And then we entered in January and February of 2025. Construction documents are now completed for Building A and the overall site. Wanted to kind of just, again, mention that some quick facts. This is designed to accommodate 50 plus years of growth for public work programming and engineering. It will house fleet, facilities, engineering, water, streets, stormwater, and parks and open space, including protected parking for the public works vehicle fleet to protect our equipment and vehicles. And it's on a 10-acre site with around 74,000 square foot of enclosed space. On this site also includes a fuel island, salt storage, chemical storage, and a large wash bay.
You said construction in 2027. Is that right? Not on your quick facts, but on your
Completely completed by 2027, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Building A should be completed in the summer, early fall of 26, and they'll be continue working west on the remaining buildings for the complete project being done in 2027.
Okay, thank you.
Here's an overall site plan. So again, they'll be starting on the east side, which is Building A, and then working their way west along the property for buildings B, C, D, and E. Here's just a couple site renderings that was shared last time. Again, just to kind of show as we're getting into this final design stage, can really start getting some visual ideas of what this overall site's going to look like. So again, our approach with going with the GMP, which is guaranteed maximum price, is to have some budget certainty on this overall project, allow us to do some quality control, reduce a lot of our risk, increase the transparency of this project, not only to the board, but to the public at a whole, and it provides a higher quality end product when it's all done. So our goal was to approach this with this overall product to really making sure that we're maximizing those dollars to make sure that this project meets that 50-year expectation for the overall use of the facility. The total on-site, so this is going to be everything that's on-site of the facility for the construction of the project is around $38.2 million. This has been pretty worked through and fine-tuned along the way with staff. We've been working with our owner's rep, Dunn-Achille, and our architect, Airbnb, and now with our general contractor, FCI, to really fine-tuning the overall budget scope and of the total project. Within the GMP, there is about a 5% contingency that's built in, along with some of these allowances that are included. So we feel this is a very full, thorough cost of the entire site of the program. Things that are not included is the off-site water line, which is estimated to be around $1.3 million, the FF&E, some owner's contingency, the design team costs that were brought forward previously to the board, some material testing, third-party commissioning, and a couple other things. Total cost of those outside of the actual site construction is around $9.3 million. So when we put all of that together, we're sitting at a total project cost around $47.5 million. Of that, total owner's contingency that's included in that cost is around 4.3. We're working really hard to making sure that through this GMP process that contingency hopefully will not need to be utilized to a large degree. But definitely want to make sure we have those safeguards in place for the overall project. Within that professional services area of that $3 million, those have been things that we have utilized capital facility fund balance for through the contract that was brought forward to the board last year for the owner's rep and the architectural services. So those will not be funds that need to be secured through the issuing of the certificate of participations later this spring. Bid Pack 1, so this is just an update of, so we previously brought to the board last month Bid Pack 1, which was around $11.2 million. This included a lot of upfront items that either had a large lead time. A lot of it was electrical things, along with some of the steel packages. Again, just trying to get in front of to mitigate some of those cost changes and allowing us to get in front of things that took a long time to get processed and delivered so we can maintain that tight window of construction schedule that we have within the land swap agreement with Agilent. So then tonight, seeking approval for is the remaining piece of that site construction piece of Bid Pack 2. So that's all the other remaining on-site work. This is around $26.9 million. Again, even up to today, we are still fine-tuning those pieces to really pare down and making sure we have vetted out and made sure it's a quality product with the best use of dollars. And then we will be anticipating to bring back to the board the final component, which is the off-site public improvements. of around 1.3 that is anticipated to bring back to you sometime in April. Again, that's going to be the water line, the sanitary line, and then the turn lane that is required with the improvements of the site. Again, that will be the final scope, and then that will be the complete project components for the entire project as a whole. So kind of next steps beyond tonight's seeking board approval of bid pack 2 will be final site plan approval from town planning, working right now with getting building A permit approved, and then submitting and completing the construction documents of buildings B through F, and working on the final water sewer line public improvement drawings to get that ready for submitting to the town for permit as well. So then in April, we'll bring back bid pack 3, have bid buildings B through F go through the town for permit approval of that, and that's when we anticipate the contractor to mobilize and start doing some of the original groundwork on the site.
Jason, if I could interject, well, also in April, you'll see several ordinances relating to the financing pieces that we're working with our bond counsel, municipal finance advisor, and all of those folks. So since we don't have another meeting this month, you'll be seeing those beginning of April.
And then the completion of those is issuance of the COPs at the end of May, early June, which will meet the timeline of when we're needing the cash flow for the project really taking off with construction.
And the finance teams are already involved in that anyway.
Yes, correct. So we have our finance team, we have our legal department, along with town manager's office, along with outside bond counsel and a financial advisor helping us navigate through the issuance of those certificate of participations.
Great, thank you. Wait, sorry, will you go back one more slide? April. Construction begins. Okay.
Yeah, so the work we'll see in April will be more of just getting ready for staging and some earthwork moving. We are working with communications and public works to get some type of signage, because we know the minute dirt starts to move that there's going to be questions from the public, especially with that frontage along Silver Birch. So we're working with creating a webpage with FAQs and some information, and do a similar kind of posting like you'll see with the Silverstone Marketplace with the QR code and kind of an image rendering, so we can make sure we're getting that ready to go before the work is started, so we can make sure we're ready to show that information and answer any questions the community may have.
Will FCI have any signage on that area as well?
They will typically, what you see kind of along some of that fencing, their work, and maybe anyone else that's a subcontractor that's doing work as part of just the overall project that you see on typical construction sites.
Are their event sponsors right now, right? FCI?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
At this point, I can answer any other questions regarding the project, regarding bid pack 2, anything in general.
For me, on the kind of the public website FAQs, one of the important things, and it may already be on there, is how is this being financed and paid for, and kind of layman's terms for folks. I think will be really important. But I didn't have any questions on bid pack 2.
Okay. No, we definitely want to make sure, because when you see a facility being used, we want to make sure that we can explain what a certificate of participation means in lieu of issuing bond in a traditional municipal avenue. So we'll definitely have a section related to the financing component, not in addition to the project as a whole, for sure.
Any other questions? Some direction? Oh, go ahead. You have a question? No. Okay. But you had some direction. 25R23.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 25-R-24. What?
25R23.
Oh, I was on the next one. 25R-23, excuse me.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Messed
No.
it up.
Trustee March?
Yes.
Trustee Lamont?
Yes.
Trustee Padilla?
Yes.
Trustee Taveldi?
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
You. Thank you, Jason.
No, thank you very much. This has been a very exciting project to be a part on, and it's exciting to see it kind of come together, and can't wait to see it start
Yeah.
getting some elevation. And
Yeah, it is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you all already know the sensitivities in the communication, and our team's really great at this, but there are going to be community questions on, why public works versus a police department, or we're going to get those questions. So maybe even just being prepared with, why this and why now, I think could be very helpful in the communication as well.
yeah, we can make sure that we're prepared as we get into event season, and we have town tents at the community barbecues, making sure that staff that's involved in their facility were on site to answer those questions one-on-one with staff during those events. With
Great.
residents during those events.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Mm.
All right. Item G.
Yes, I'm back.
Hi.
I'm presenting on behalf of Tracy this evening. She is gone at a conference, but we wanted to bring this item to the board this evening because we have some grant opportunities, and the grant applications are due later this week. So we want to make sure we were able to bring this forward to the board in order to try to maximize the ability to apply for these grants. So tonight, these grants are related to our strategic goals of fiscally responsible governance and strategic reliability and sustainable infrastructure. These grants are related to the Colorado Boulevard and Bella Rosa intersection project. So when we had our roads work session last month, we had presented to the board that there are some funding challenges with the project in its current scope. So when we had left that work session, we had committed to looking at ways to help fill that gap. One avenue is through grant opportunities. So we came back and met with Tracy, our grant administrator, to comb through and see if there were any grants that are currently in a cycle that we were able to apply for. So she found two that we were able to apply for. One that is we applied for this month, and one that is early April. So why we want to bring this forward to you this evening. So currently on that project, we have been awarded a slightly over $2 million surface transportation block grant with CDOT. Again, this is a joint project between the town of Frederick and town of Firestone, and the current project scope is design, travel and auxiliary deceleration, acceleration lanes, striping, traffic signal operations, curb, gutter, sidewalk, and making that entire intersection ADA curb ramp and crosswalk features. When we dove into that, we kind of saw we have about right now about a $4.5–5 million funding gap. So with that, we the first grant we are submitting is for a Rural Economic Development Initiative. This is designed to help communities comprehensively diversify their local economy and create a more resilient Colorado. This grant is for $100,000. The criteria was to fund plans, construction, and programs that help build capacity that is related to helping retain or bring jobs through an improvement of road infrastructure. With that, through DOLA's regional managers, we have a typical match somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000, depending upon the size of the project. So we are submitting for the full $100,000 for that grant. The second grant is called the Non-Attainment Area Air Pollution Mitigation Enterprise. This grant aims to mitigate any environmental and health impacts of increased air pollution from motor vehicle emissions. This grant we can actually request up to $4 million, which would help fill the funding gap significantly. And of that, the local match is 20%, and this project will help fund plans, the construction, and programming of that intersection project.
Do we qualify? Are we
We
causing
do. The
pollutant?
criteria does fit for this intersection project, which is why we feel also leveraging the joint effort between the town of Frederick and the town of Firestone is usually where a lot of these grants are looking for that regional partnership. So again, what made the first grant of the $2 million successful of that regional perspective, we're trying to also make this one successful as well. So with that, I'm here to answer any questions with regards to those grants being submitted. We will keep the board informed as we learn of the grant being awarded or not awarded during Tracy's normal quarterly updates. But at this time, I'm here to answer any questions or provide some board direction.
Questions?
I'll make a motion to approve what I said before, the resolution number 25-R-24.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? No?
Trustee Padilla?
Yes.
Trustee Lamont?
Yes.
Trustee March?
Yes.
Trustee Teveldi?
Without question.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate ya.
Great.
That is all we have for action agenda items tonight. Do we have any trustee reports to share?
I do.
Sam.
So I attended the Denver Regional Council of Governments meeting, where a lot of it is focused on legislation right now. But as you know, I recuse myself and don't take a position because I don't have time to talk to the entire board about all the bills, and I don't want to presume to say what the position is for Frederick. So I don't participate in that part, but I also was able to get onto the performance and budget committee for Dr. Cog, and so kind of getting into the window of the budget a little bit. And then just thanks to Ryan, the Northern Area Transportation Alliance, the mayor of Erie is the chair for that. And a lot of folks in our region are looking at really partnering on how we can have a bigger voice on things like Highway 52 and things that really impact all of us on the Northern I-25 corridor. So I think it's really beneficial for me to kind of be plugged into these regional conversations about transportation, because what I'm definitely learning is it's a very long game, probably like NISP, where it's going to be really long. But it's kind of lining up all the funding, understanding where those opportunities might be when, and really having a voice in the room in terms of getting CDOT's attention when there's several of us saying the same thing. So again, it's kind of disappointing because it'll be years and years away when we have Highway 52 improvements or something like that. But there's a lot of things that we can do, I think, that where we can get funding like Bella Rosa and things like that, that'll have more immediate improvements. So, yeah, that's it.
Well, congratulations.
I think they just wanted like suckers who, no offense, want to look at like numbers.
You're right.
And you raised your hand for that. That was nice of you. Thank you.
You're having a bad day.
Well, thank you for serving and bringing back, what you know to us and to the team. I think that's really important to understand all those moving pieces.
Well, but I'm at least there, and people see Frederick, is ready to partner where we can.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you hear of any ways to expedite, or they're, looking for an extra set of eyes, thank you for volunteering and let us know how we can help.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Wendy, I applaud you for being there. Because I worked with Dr. Cog quite a few years ago. About 10 years I was doing work with them, and they can be very frustrating and very difficult, but they're very necessary. And you're right, it takes a long time, but thank you.
Yeah, I think our board on Dr. Cog is like 51 entities. So imagine running those board meetings.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Where are they meeting now?
Downtown Denver. It's close to my office where I work, where my day job. Yep. Yeah, it does.
It helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
There is room for an alternate if anybody ever wants to go to downtown Denver on Wednesday night. So there's an alternate spot if a trustee or somebody wants to take it. Chad.
Don't go south.
He was trying not to make eye contact with you at that moment.
I go north for my work in the day, so that'd be difficult.
Yeah.
The NISP did their settlement. I'm sure everybody saw that.
Yeah. Yep.
Not a whole lot more going on there.
But that's good. It's
Hmm.
encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made quick work of that. I feel
I
like.
mean, the real win is that it's, that came up and it went this fast to get to a settlement.
No
This could
kidding.
have taken 2 years.
I thought it would, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't terrible stuff. It's all spread out over time. And it's just, I don't think anything changed from what we saw here.
Not substantively.
What was the final settlement dollar? Not
A lot.
not disposed.
A lot. But
It's a lot, yeah.
A lot.
100 million.
But
over.
it's to be used for particular things.
Right. It's only to
Or
create improvements in the Poudre River.
conservancy. Yeah.
Pockets or
Right.
paying for services or anything other than let's make the Poudre River the best it's ever been.
Save the
There's
pooter.
a committee that gets together that's half of it is northern staff persons or northern representatives, half of it's the special interest groups. And so nothing can get done unless there's at least some consensus between the two parties. So it's not like we're just giving it up and watching
Right.
it
it
flow.
looked very legit.
It's good to know. Thank you. Anybody over here? No? Okay. Nothing for you, Dan?
When
I'm good.
these,
Yes, please.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, ditto on what Dan and Tracy have said. I really appreciate you going down to Denver and being down there and going through that.
Going through
If I
that.
ever work somewhere else, I probably won't go anymore.
You don't go if you don't have to.
But I stay north when I can. I don't like to go south.
You're welcome, and I think it's important for our town people to be reminded that we exist.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of all of that, though, I mean, I think it's admirable that we've been saying that for a couple years. Like, hey, we're not the forgotten child over here. We have an important voice, and we're not only willing to take a seat at the table, like we have things to say. And I love that about the town of Frederick and you all. But there's also, kind of the lower hanging fruit and some of those more immediate fixes that I'm frustrated that we're being ignored. So I do understand it takes time to widen and understand access points to Highway 52. It should not take years to fill potholes on Highway 52. So I don't know what it is we have to do to just get basic maintenance and for them to remember that we live here and there are goods and services that are transported on Highway 52. There are important people that are transported on Highway 52. I mean, that place is an absolute disaster. So I don't know. I think there are other strategies we need to figure out how to put in place so that, yes, we have someone advocating for the long-term goals, but somebody who is nagging at the short-term fixes, because those are not only irritating, they're not safe and they need to be addressed. So whether it's us, whether it's a staff member, whether it's staff members or a collective of all of that, we've got to figure out a way to get CDOT to pay attention so that they can maintain this piece of infrastructure better than they are now, because it's just not acceptable.
Yeah, Mayor, I would suggest let's get the regional director back here.
Great.
We'll work to do that.
Yeah, put his phone number on Facebook again.
I think I'd like to have him come to a study session.
Yeah.
Can we put a
Like
sign
that.
up on 52?
Yes. With his phone number.
That'll get some.
That worked for a little while.
Yes.
We had enough complaints, so many complaints. We'll put Kobe's number up there too.
Yeah.
Everybody's phone. It's a directory. That's what it is. It's only Kobe's number though. Yes, please. That's so frustrating. That road is awful. Okay. Anybody else have anything? We do not have another meeting in March. I don't know if it actually lines up with everybody's spring break or not, but we do not have another meeting in March, so we'll see each other in April.
So
Make sense?
Right.
Okay. Question for you. Would you prefer that someone make a resolution to go into all three of these executive sessions, such as myself, to cite all the reasons? What would be your preference?
I think if we can do it as 3 separate motions, it's my understanding trustee Petty is recusing from the first one, so we'd have a separate vote for that piece. If we can do all of that in a public setting, then we don't necessarily have to worry about jumping back and forth through the whole evening.
Okay. All right, well, let's do that, if you don't mind. At this time, I would like to make a recommendation that the board go into executive session for a conference with the town attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS section 246402-4B regarding oil and gas litigation.
Second.
Thank you. If you don't mind taking that vote for us, Trish.
Trustee Padilla.
Abstain.
Excuse me.
There we go. No, it's fine.
I would say it.
Trustee
Do all
Lamont.
three a minute?
Yes.
Trustee March.
Yes.
Trustee Tavelli.
Yes.
Motion passes 3 with 1 abstain.
Would you actually stay and vote on these other two, and then, and then you can,
Okay, that's right.
thank you. So motion passed, I'm sorry.
Motion passed 3.
Great, thank you. And following that executive session, I would make a recommendation to the board that we go into a second executive session for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and or instructing negotiators under CRS section 246402-4E1 regarding Wyndham Hill Commercial.
Second.
Motion and a second, thank you.
Trustee Tavelli.
Yes.
Trustee March.
Yes.
Trustee Lamont.
Yes.
Trustee Padilla.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
Thank you. And finally, a third executive session, I would make a motion for the board to consider going into executive session for the purpose of, for discussion, of a personnel matter under CRS section 246402-4F and not involving any specific employees who have requested discussion of the matter in open session, any member of this body or any elected official, the appointment of any person to fill an office of this body or of an elected official, or personnel policies that do not require the discussion of matters personal to particular employees regarding the town attorney review.
Second.
Thank you.
Trustee Tavelli.
Yes.
Trustee March.
Yes.
Trustee Lamont.
Yes.
Trustee Padilla.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
Wonderful, thank you. If we may take a 10-minute recess, and we'll adjourn for our first executive session. Thank you.
We're still waiting on Matt Surratt to get here too.
Okay.